We have Bill O'Reilly with us now, and we want to continue our conversation here with Bill on switching now to what happened in Georgia. What do we face now? What is coming towards us, Bill?
All right. The Tip O'Neill, people may remember him if you're really into politics, former Speaker of the House, once said, all politics is local. And it's true. And that means that people vote based upon their own self-interest and what's best for them and their families and friends. Okay. So Georgia should never, ever in a million years have gone to too radical. And I mean that word literally. These are radical leftists, Ossoff and Warnock. And in a million years, they should never have won in a traditional state like Georgia. But what happened was that it became a race vote. And Stacey Abrams, who lost the governor's race last time around, convinced 93% of African Americans in Georgia that the Republican Party hated them. So 93% voted for these radical leftists. Now, I'll submit to you, you were to sit down with most of those voters and say, do you understand what socialism is and what these people really want? No, it was all emotion.
And I will say that I don't think it, and I'd like to hear your comment on this, I don't think it was as much race as it was that $600 versus $2,000 stimulus package.
No, I was going to get to that in a minute.
Okay.
You have to understand, though, and you're wrong on this. Stacey Abrams, for the last, year and a half, 2 years,
yes,
has been telling black Georgians they're disenfranchised. Every day she says that to them.
Because the vote was stolen from her.
From her,
yeah.
Right. And other things.
Yeah.
And other things. All right? But every single blanking day, this woman is on television in Georgia saying that. And that's race. And she says the people who disenfranchise you are Republicans. They did it. Trump did it. Okay. So you could have overcome that if you were the two Republican senators, even though the electorate in Georgia is 32% black. You could have overcome it if you had a message. But the two senators did not. They were mediocre candidates. Then you get the point that you just made, that Mitch McConnell, a Republican Senate Majority Leader, blocked $1,400 to every Georgian voter. Stopped it. Then the final was Trump going there the day before the vote and attacking the state. Now, the Trump supporters buy into that, but the independent voters, about 28% in Georgia, they were insulted that Trump was running down the entire state apparatus. And you needed those 28, the majority of that 28% independent vote, to overcome the African-American vote. And you didn't get it. The independents broke Democrat. So now the country faces both houses being controlled by Democrats. But there's one guy who could save us.
Joe Manchin.
That's Senator Joe Manchin, who's not really a liberal Democrat. And he says he's not going to vote for radical stuff. He's not going to do it. And in West Virginia, he's not going to pay a price for that.
Yeah, he's not going in West Virginia. He's not going to go along with the Green New Deal.
Right. He's going to block.
Yeah.
But on the other side, you got Murkowski in Alaska.
Correct.
Who is not a Republican. She's not. And she can be bought. I mean, not physically bought, with money. But she can be persuaded. And then a couple of other Republicans, Collins, Romney, you don't know what they're going to do. But there is hope because of Joe Manchin, who I believe may switch parties.
I do too.
Okay? And become a Republican if things get terrible, and they may.
What do you think they can get through now? And what do you think they will just take executive order on? For instance, the Second Amendment. They have been, Kamala Harris has been very clear. She'd do it through executive order.
But then she gets slapped down by the Supreme Court.
Oh.
So I'm not worried about gun rights.
Wow.
I'm worried about the economy. Because the economy is the first thing that they're going to try to do, the Democrats. They have to.
So why on God's green earth is the Dow having the greatest day yesterday that it's ever had? I mean, it broke all records. It's still higher than it was yesterday. It's gone up since yesterday. Why is that happening? Because businesses should know a party that has control of all three branches and has said higher taxes on the rich, control of corporations, more regulation, all of these things, that's not good for business.
Beck, you know the answer to your question.
I'm afraid I do, but tell me.
You do. Deep inside, Beck.
I know.
You have to take a walk and clear your head. But you know the answer to that question. The stock market wants Trump gone. Not because of his policies. They were pro-business. But they don't want turmoil. The markets hate uncertainty and turmoil.
Can I? May I?
An initial. One more second.
Yeah.
This stock market spike is basically a relief that maybe the country won't be in so much turmoil now.
May I ask, because that I agree with that. However, the stock market was going through the roof while we were having people march in the Capitol, which was disturbing to see.
But they look out.
I know.
Yeah, they look out. And most of these marketeers, they've had enough. It's not ideological. It's not even party. It's like, oh, let's stop this. Can we stop it? And
do you think there's anything to be said? Walk with me a little farther down this road, because I have quietly thought about all of these things. And the other thing that comes to mind is the financial sector has done very well in the last few days.
Right.
And they know they're all safe. They're all going to get bailouts. They're going to get the money.
Well, I'm going to tell your audience now, and some of your audience is my audience. I mean, they commingle, that you got to be very, very careful in all investments. Now, if you have stocks, you were to call your broker today and put stops 15% down on where your stock price is now. For example, if you hold stock in IBM, it's 15% down that you sell. So you don't get clobbered when the correction comes, and it is going to come. So the first thing that Biden and his crew want to do is raise taxes. Now, that's not going to help the economy. Everyone knows that. But they're going to try to get away with it by saying, listen, we're going to raise taxes, but really not that much. And it's just the rich and Amazon and those people going to pay it. And most people don't have stocks. And they're going to say, go ahead, raise taxes on capital gains. Go ahead, raise taxes on Beck and O'Reilly. We don't care. But the result of all that is going to be less business. It's going to be a contraction. And I don't hope for that. But if that happens in 2022, there's going to be an enormous backlash against the Democrats. And that there are 34 Senate seats up in 22. And the Republicans could well take both houses if there is an economic contraction. But I don't think we should be rooting for that.
Well, we shouldn't. One last thing. We've only got about a minute. One last thing, Bill. I believe the radicals learned that they've got 2 years. They learned this in 2010. They've got 2 years, and I just don't agree with you that they are going to hold back or be able to be held back. I think they are going to go for every radical move that they possibly can. And you
that's
sound
why we have Manchin. That's why we're relying on Manchin and maybe a few other moderate Democrats.
How sad is
and
that?
Then the court.
How sad is that?